We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
This is Teal, and it's episode 22 of the Bare Essentials. It's getting close to Christmas, and I thought I'd look at some of the characteristics of Jesus, what he was like, as it relates to Christmas. Now, there's a couple Bible verses in Mark that have to do with Jesus' birth. They don't have anything to say about mangers or stables or shepherds in the field or any of the things that we traditionally think about Christmas time and the coming of Jesus. Let me tell you this story. It's recorded for us in Mark. Jesus and his disciples are headed for Jerusalem. And James and John, two of the disciples, kind of pulled Jesus aside and they said, Jesus, when you get to come in your kingdom and when you sit on your throne, James and I want to sit on either side of you, one on the right and one on the left. And the other disciples heard it. And they were just furious and jealous. And they came to Jesus and they said, this is not right. We're just as worthy to sit on the light, right, and left as you are. You need to choose us. Don't choose James or John. And so there was an argument, and I'm sure Jesus threw up his hands and said, you guys still don't get it. And he gave them a little teaching about how the first are going to be last, and if you want to be the leader, you have to be the servant, and that kind of thing. But he said something about himself at the end of that dialogue with his disciples about greatness. Okay? I want to read it to you. It's Mark chapter 10. It's one verse. It's in verse 45. And Jesus says, for even the Son of Man, and remember the Son of Man is Jesus' favorite description for himself. That's what he liked to call himself. For even the Son of Man did not come, there's Christmas. There's Christmas. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. So Jesus is describing himself at Christmas. He said the Son of Man did not come at that first Christmas to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. When I read about the character of Jesus like this, and I think about the Christian faith, and we're called, our country, we refer to as a Christian nation. We have some Christians that live here, but it isn't really a Christian nation because of the way that we live and conduct ourselves in the world and with one another. If you look at the conflict that goes on in our country right now between the right and the left, the really conservative and the more liberal, the progressives and the right wing or the evangelical Christian side, the conflict that goes on. If you look at that conflict, you can identify characteristics of people that are not Christian. They're not acting like Jesus. It's a really big deal right now to be oppressed, be the oppressor or the one oppressed, to be the victim or the one who's caused you to be the victim or the one who's taken your rights away. And systemic racism and wokeness and all these modern ways of looking at rights being violated. Rights being violated. And I look at Jesus, his coming, he came with violated rights. He came with violated rights. He gave up his rights to come. Now, if I am going to call myself a Christian, if I want to act Christian, then I'm going to have to deal with somehow his character in being that type of person, having given up rights to come and do his calling. I live in a country, in a society where rights are magnified. You have no right to say that to me. You have no right to do that to me. I have right to say what I want. However you interpret your rights as a citizen or as a human being, if you call yourself a Christian and someone who is intent on developing the character of Christ in you, you have to deal with the fact that he had this part of his character. He believed it. He talked about it. He criticized his disciples for not having it. He says, the Son of Man has come not to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many. That's some really heavy language. It goes contrary to the grain of our thinking, of our society, of what we have always believed to be true, the way we've been raised, the way our forefathers planted this nation. Well, thanks for watching, and I wish you a blessed holiday season, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.